if this is what you're saying, a significant retaliation, something that's less of a demonstration, something to show Israel more damage, would Israel respond? I mean, does Israel want a regional war as well?
That's, I think, the bigger question. I think there's enough evidence to suggest an idea of what Iran will try to do. The bigger question is, how will Israel respond? Will it see it as an escalatory move? Will it strike against Iran directly? You might recall Israel's response to the Iranian attack in April was fairly muted. It did launch an airstrike against an Iranian military base in the city of Esfahan and did at least some damage to that base. Although I should note the Iranians never publicly acknowledged that Israel had struck a target inside Iran, likely to avoid having to do anything in response, again, trying to reduce escalatory pressure. Israel is in a very, very difficult position. And when I say Israel, I really should clarify and say the government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. There are internal pressures. There are domestic issues. There has been increasing unrest, divisions between the Netanyahu government and the military, divisions within Netanyahu's own government. There's not only the challenge posed by Iran, but also the challenge posed by the continued war in Gaza, the continued challenge to reach a ceasefire agreement, and the continued threat posed by Hezbollah. All of this suggests that Israel probably doesn't want a regional war that would make its security position even more precarious, even more difficult to maintain. There's also the question of U.S. support. The Biden administration's response to the Israeli assassination of Hania was pretty frustrated, I would say. Reporting suggests that Biden's reaction to the assassination was anger. So it's a little unclear how far the United States would go to support an Israeli retaliation. That being said, I think it's very likely that the U.S. will do everything it can to defend Israel against an Iranian attack. So given that Israel probably doesn't want regional escalation, given that it faces its own domestic and sort of near-term security challenges, and given that it may not be entirely confident of significant U.S. support for retaliation against Iran, that all suggests to me that they probably don't want regional escalation. But then again, it all depends on how significant the Iranian attack is, whether or not it causes significant damage or civilian casualties. That will determine what the Israeli response ends up being.